Riddick Bowe and Elijah Tillery. The bell ending the first round of a scheduled 12-round match had sounded. It climaxed a round in which Bowe had battered Tillery, liberally, even scoring a knockdown. Then strange things began to happen. Tillery sassed Bowe, who threw a left at him. With his back to the ropes, Tillery proceeded to kick at Bowe 3 times until Bowe's manager climbed into the ring and yoked Tillery from behind. At that point, Bowe threw a roundhouse right and Tillery tumbled backwards out of the ring. In the follow-through, Bowe nearly went over the ropes too, but he stayed upright. First, it's Riddick Bowe and Evander Holyfield. Holyfield had lost his title to Bowe the year before and started positively on a quest for revenge. He was clearly leading at the halfway point, en route to finally securing the recognition which eluded him throughout his early career spent in Mike Tyson's shadow. Then, out of the sky, all hell broke loose.
And a left hand for Holyfield. And they swing after the bell. And look at this. Right hand for Holyfield. Stuns Bowe. And Bowe comes back fighting this time. And somebody in a parachute has just landed.
James "Fan Man" Miller became a part of boxing history when he crashed his paramotor into the Riddick Bowe Evander Holyfield rematch in 1993. As a result, the response was utter bedlam. Security from Bowe's team were first to apprehend Miller and reacted by simply punching him unconscious.
Oh my God! Wow!
Next, Ryan Garcia's fastest hand.
Needs to put his hands up, and it's down!
Combinations. The instructions Garcia got in the corner.
An uppercut. Lopez rattled a little bit. He may be ready to go.
Ryan Garcia, famous for lightning fast hands, knocking down a series of heavyweights in the rankings. Garcia knocked out Javier Fortuna in 6 impressive rounds, with the fight ending on a stunning combination.
As Garcia in the tempo in the 4th round, and the body's comfortable fighting southpaws. Oh, he got him again!
In footage captured from inside the crypto arena, it shows the exact moment Garcia connects with his left hand. He threw a left hook so fast, the camera barely caught the punch, in a warning to his opponent.
Nice.
People want to throw, and he caught him with a left hook again!
Tyson Fury's kiss for Sefer Seferai. Imagine not only losing to Tyson Fury, but getting a kiss from him before the beating he hands out. That's what happened to Sefer Seferai in June 2018, when the Gypsy King began his climb back to the top of the heavyweight mountain. Mike Tyson versus Holyfield. Holyfield dominates the fight. He was better than a diminished Tyson. But Mike did not last long. In a clinch, Iron Mike pulled out all his desperation and bites off a piece of Holyfield's ear, who incredulously complained to the referee, Mills Lane. Then Holyfield took water to soothe the ear. The referee checked it and decided to disqualify Mike Tyson, to the surprise of the audience, who didn't even know what was going on.
Now here's the bite. Keep your eye on Mike. See, Mike has just seen it. Look at him. You can see it. You can see it. There it is.
Damn!
Next, it's Lennox Lewis and Oliver McCall.
So Oliver McCall comes out. Occurrence in between rounds. Round number.
The favorite, Lewis, starts the fight in confident fashion. The Brit controlled the first 3 rounds with stiff left jabs and occasional hard rights to the head. McCall refused to go to the corner after the 3rd round and just walked around the ring.
All is playing possum about the drug arrest charges. He's an emotion.
From there on, the fight became extremely bizarre. McCall, although covering up well, only threw 2 punches in the 4th. When the bell sounded after being guided to the corner by the referee, the American fighter started crying profusely. Those around him were baffled as to what was going on. Now it's Juan Manuel Marquis drinking his own urine?
Por eso estamos entrenando cuestión del estilo de Mayweather, un estilo difícil, un estilo elusivo, un estilo de contragolpe.
He's trying to step it up.
In order to focus on the fight against Floyd Mayweather Jr., Juan Manuel Marquez shows off an unusual training regimen. He drinks his own urine. For this boxer, drinking his own urine has become part of his training routine. Marquez says it's a good way to replenish his system of lost vitamins and other nutrients, which are expelled by the body through urine.
Many months later.
Right hands. Mayweather's involved.
Next, it's David Benavidez versus Ronald Ellis. Benavidez put on a dominant display of pressure fighting to batter Ronald Ellis en route to an 11th round TKO win in Uncasville, Connecticut. David gets off to a quick start, appears to steal the fight round by cutting off the ring and beating the opponent to consecutive punches. However, it's the speed of his attack is what catches the attention of fans. Finally, referee Johnny Callis jumps in and stops the fight at 2:03 of round 11 as Benavidez teed off on a standing Ellis. Now it's Hasim Rahman versus Evander Holyfield. An accidental headbutt in round 8 by Holyfield appeared to cause a baseball-sized pop knot on Rahman's head. Taylor said the Baltimore fighter had developed a severe hematoma. Rahman felt the headbutts were on purpose and had to wait a year until he could return to boxing. Adam Azam over Rylan Charlton. Adam Azam made light work of the toughest test of his career to date with a thrilling second-round knockout victory over Rylan Charlton. Azam knocked out Charlton in the second round to maintain his unbeaten record with a brilliant display of speed and power. It took less than 30 seconds to send the warning shot as a clean right hook, and that sent Charlton to the canvas. Less than 10 seconds, Azam lands another knockdown with a vicious left hand, with the bell ensuring the fight continued. John Ramirez knocks Jan Salvatierra out of the ring. Ramirez scored a devastating one-punch knockout win in the opening round, sending the crowd into a frenzy. With less than a minute left in the round, as both fighters separated from a clinch, Ramirez lands a big right hand.
From John Ramirez! It was a right hook. He was out before he even hit the canvas. It's over!
Follows up with another right to the head and drops Salvatierra. Oh, it's over! The impact of the punch carries Salvatierra under the ropes and off the canvas.
Look, man, I really wanted to know what to expect from this. Ow! Even he's impressed. Thank God our photographer was there to cushion the fall, or that could have been a serious. You know what? Credit to Salvatierra, who actually got back into the ring and tried to beat
this fight, because when it comes to fighters like this, Salvatierra wasn't going to go anywhere. You got to save him from himself.
Deontay Wilder and Robert Helenius. Wilder needed less than a round to win his first fight since 2019, obliterating Robert Helenius with a single right in the final second of the opening round on a Saturday at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York.
There it is. Deontay Wilder is back.
One punch can negate that.
One-hitter quitter is back with giant arms, and let's take a look. Robert's lying motionless on the canvas while the Bronze Bomber is in full force with a scowl on his face. It's time for the medical staff. Bedlam Smith versus Jojai. Chris Bedlam Smith got the spectacular win he was after as he flattened Arman Jojai in the fifth round in stunning fashion with a sensational 7-punch barrage. Jojai tried to move closer. Bedlam Smith backed off, lands a huge right, and seems to knock Jojai out on his feet. And his legs collapsed under him, and he crashed down backwards. The referee waves it off instantly at 1:52 of the round. Sad but true, Jojai lost.
Let's have a look at how it all ended. Starting with the uppercut. Yeah. Great.
Joe Joyce and Joseph Parker. Finally, Joe Joyce passed his toughest test to date, Joseph Parker. With the perfect chin, the Juggernaut walked through every power shot like he was swatting a fly and would continue to go forward. Everything was set up by the power jab. Joyce went right at Parker, turned his hips ever so slightly, and unleashed a violent left hook to send Parker back and stumbling to the corner and the canvas. Parker made it up, but the referee had seen enough. Daniel Dubois and Kevin Lorena.
Dubois has good power if you stay in line for the power, just like Dubois now.
Daniel Dubois rallied from the brink of disaster to stop Kevin Lorena and salvage his heavyweight career. Triple D was knocked down by a left hook that seemed to take a knee twice.
Wants to be here anymore.
He was considered the top prospect in the division.
Down but not out, somehow he turned the fight around as Lorena did not go for broke in the second, allowing Dubois to find his feet, drop, and then stop the South African in the third. Dubois lands a series of devastating jabs to Lorena's head, prompting the referee to wave it off. Now it's down and out.
See if he can do it. Dubois coming in to try to finish it. He was down 3 times in round 1. Fourth shot. Oh, he's eating punishment. Oh, God, what a big shot that was!
Zhilei Zhang versus Scott Alexander. The 6'6" Zhang scores a thunderous finish with only his 4th landed punch at T-Mobile Arena. Though with a sluggish style, the Big Bang made quick work of Alexander, finishing the American with a textbook straight left hand that he cocked expertly to counter the American and send him crashing to the canvas. Daniel Dubois and Trevor Bryan. Dubois claimed one of his multiple secondary titles for that WBA, currently in the heavyweight division, by scoring a KO4 victory against Trevor Bryan. The disaster happened toward the end of the 4th round as Dynamite lands a left hook right combo and he sends Bryan crumbling to the canvas. And it's over! With this win, Dubois now the WBA mandatory challenger for titleist Alexander Usyk. Next, it's Janibek Alimkhanuly versus Danny Dignum. Janibek Alimkhanuly dominated and outclassed Danny Dignum over 2 rounds, scoring a 2nd round knockout in Las Vegas. The 2016 Olympian from Kazakhstan drops Dignum once in the first and then puts him to sleep with a monster left uppercut in the second, and that's all. With the win, Alimkhanuly holds the WBO interim middleweight title.
also watch the left hand uppercut.
Liam Paro and Brock Jarvis. The battle between Paro and Jarvis was over almost as soon as it started, as a few high-tempo opening exchanges quickly made way for Paro's brutal left hand to conclude the card with a champagne finish. Yep, it's over, exactly over. Jarvis looked done as soon as he landed on the canvas. The referee wisely abandoned the count and waved it off. Adrian Bronner and Jason Litzau. Adrian Bronner not wasting much time once the opportunity opens up. Bronner caught Litzau with a wild left hook and a big right, and he stuns the Minnesotan and puts him in the ropes. Then Bronner continues unloading with heavy shots, cracking Litzau with a right hand, puts Litzau down and out with two more big shots.
The problem, Bronner!
Carl Froch and Lucian Butte. It's fight night. A fearless and determined Froch blitzed the undefeated man from the get-go. Froch lays heavy pressure on, just battering Butte. The road fighter tends to get things going better, but Froch drills him again in the late frame. And the referee administered a count, but Butte's corner, though, they'd seen enough. They come into the ring and stop the fight to save their money.
Champion of the world, the Cobra!
Vasyl Lomachenko and Roman Martinez. Lomachenko has a great fight with a spectacular knockout of titleist Roman "Rocky" Martinez. Lomachenko thoroughly dominates the fight from the opening bell with superior hand speed, footwork, and slick punching from varieties of angles. But Lomachenko saves his best for last, stopping Martinez with a beautiful left uppercut, right hook combo, knocking him flat on his back in round 5. Martinez is unable to beat the count, and the referee waves it off at 109. Juan Manuel Lopez and Jesus Cuellar. It's another sad loss to Juan Manuel Lopez's career via Jesus Cuellar, who brutally walked down and knocked the former champion out in the ring. A readily apparent frightful KO was imminent from how easily Cuellar bounced left hands off Lopez, who could do nothing but hold on. The ending sequence, a 4-punch combo capped by a big left hook that leaves Lopez face first on the canvas. Referee calls the fight immediately, sans count to save Lopez.
Maybe cut it, calling it quits after this. Been knocked out. Second time he takes a hard knockout.
Mikey Garcia and Dehans Latkinen. Mikey Garcia brutally knocks out Latkinen in the 3rd round to become a title holder in the 3rd weight class at the MGM. Mikey hurts the now former WBC lightweight title holder with a big right uppercut, landing a grazing left, and then puts the champ down with a big right. and Lääkkinen remains motionless on the canvas for several minutes before getting back to his feet. David Tua versus John Ruiz. It was a well-matched fight between Tua and Ruiz. Solid, wickedly powerful. Tua blasts Ruiz with a bomb of a left hook to the head. In trouble, Ruiz is cracked by a vicious follow-up hook. Down on his back, totally out. Ruiz was a thoroughly beaten man in 19 seconds. Alexander Povetkin and Manuel Char. Char had success with the jab, but power shots were coming from the home favorite. After taking control of the fight in the fourth, he began the anger in the seventh. Povetkin catching his opponent with a left hook and a right hand, and he sends Char sprawling through the ropes, which results in the referee calling an immediate halt to the match. Bernard Hopkins and Joe Lipsy. Hopkins unleashing a flurry of punches to score a spectacular knockout over previously undefeated Lipsy. Hopkins was quick to follow up against defenseless Lipsy, landing 5 more to the head. And that put Lipsy flat on his back before referee Mitch Halpern could get in and stop the fight.
It's over. Mitch Halpern has stopped this fight. This fight is over. You're right.
George Groves and Francisco Sierra. Groves had extended his undefeated record to 15 after overcoming Sierra with a 6-round stop. The 24-year-old's superiority was evident right from the start, although the contest was competitive until the Mexican hit the canvas in round 6. Devastating! Groves lands a right-left combination, and Sierra goes down emphatically. He returns to his feet and soaks up another flurry of punches before his corner throws in the towel with 45 seconds of the round remaining. Joe Joyce and Carlos Takam. Joe Joyce. He catches Carlos Takam with a left hook just seconds into the 6th round and finishes with a barrage of punches just moments later. With the victory, Joe Juggernaut Joyce delivers a message to the undefeated world heavyweight champion, Alexander Usyk.
Referee Steve Gray watching on very, very closely, and it's all over! It's all over!
Liam Smith and Hassan Mwakinyo. Smith beats Hassan Mwakinyo to remain on course for another world title challenge. Under pressure in the 4th round, Mwakinyo sank to a knee in his own corner. That prompted a count from the referee, and as Smith closed in, Mwakinyo went down again, and the Liverpudlian opened up with punches, belting him into the rope. The referee took it as a sign of surrender from the visitor, waving the bout off at 1:46 of the 4th round. Next, it's Andy Ruiz Jr. and Luis Ortiz. Ruiz knocks down Luis Ortiz 3 times on the way to victory by unanimous decision on a Sunday night. The Southern California native knocked down the 43-year-old Ortiz twice in the 2nd round and again in the 7th, but his Cuban opponent punched more accurately during long stretches of relative inactivity for both fighters. Next up, it's Canelo Alvarez and Gennady Golovkin 3.
Canelo said he was looking for a knockout. Very rarely applying select pressure.
Beneath the glaring lights and percussive impact of Alvarez's power punching, Golovkin cut a subdued figure from the outset of a one-sided contest.
First 2 fights, equal 14 shots.
Sometime time him. He's not much of this.
In contrast, Alvarez set about his work with fire and force. He was aggressive, if occasionally wild, and when he pushed back Golovkin repeatedly. Golovkin landed some stinging blows, even backing Alvarez up against the ropes. But in those tightly contested exchanges, Alvarez still fired volleys of punches in return. Next, it's Jesse "Bam" Rodriguez and Israel Gonzalez. Jesse "Bam" Rodriguez outpoints resilient Israel Gonzalez in the second WBC title defense. In the opening rounds, Rodriguez burrows in on Gonzalez, who tries holding him off with his height and longer reach. Rodriguez did well working out of the crouch position. He took a more tactical approach in the 8th. Oh yeah, in the 11th, Rodriguez hits Gonzalez with a blatant low blow with a right, far below the belt this time. Next up, it's Joe Joyce and Joseph Parker. Joe Joyce stopped Joseph Parker in the 11th round to claim the vacant WBO interim heavyweight title at Manchester's AO Arena. Former WBO world champion Parker was pushed to the ropes during the 3rd round as Joyce landed a series of telling blows. Parker was eventually dropped from a left hook in the 11th round. Although he was back on his feet, the New Zealander could not beat the count. Floyd Mayweather versus Mikuru Asakura. This was an exhibition. As he faced off against an MMA veteran, Mikuru Asakura, at the Hall of Famer's latest exhibition at the legendary Saitama Super Arena in Japan. In a surprising turn of events, Asakura actually cracked Mayweather with several hard punches in the opening round before the legend knocked Asakura out with a 2-punch combo in the 2nd.
Job by Asakura. With this one.
Deontay Wilder and Robert Helenius. Wilder needed less than a round to win his first fight since 2019, and he obliterates Robert Helenius with a single right hand in the final seconds of the opening round and a few Saturdays ago at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. Next, it's Caleb Plant and Anthony Dirrell. Two-time former world champion Darrell made the fight rough early on. He wrestled Plant to the canvas in the third and was aggressive in close. Plant wrestled down Darrell in the 8th round. The speed from Plant, 6'1" and 167, was a major factor as he outlanded Darrell and made good use of his left jab.
Conferences at the weigh-in.
Nice combination. Look at it.
A little bit, gives himself some room. Right hand jab. Ooh, and here comes Darrell.
Gets it back up. Plant tried to roll with that, but now Darrell. That is flat out illegal. Right hand from Darrell. And then jabs landed. 42-12.
Jaime Munguia and Demetrius Ballard. Munguia passed with flying colors as he drops and stops Demetrius Ballard with TKO at the 147 mark of the 3rd round. Ballard comes out aggressive starting the 3rd, but his eagerness cost him as he threw a left, and Munguia blasted a cheek left hook that made Ballard stumble. He got Ballard in the corner and began to tee off and send Ballard to the canvas. Ballard's back to his feet, but he looks to the corner looking for a way out. Munguia rushes Ballard and continues the onslaught, and a left hook sent his mouthpiece out, and the referee waves it off. Joe Smith Jr. and Steve Geffrard. WBO light heavyweight champion Joe Smith Jr. could have easily looked past Geffrard, and no one would have blamed him in the slightest. Smith surprised people by boxing early, but the Beast of the East lived up to his moniker by being the aggressor and using his power, which resulted in a 16-punch combination, sending Geffrard to a knee and forcing the corner to wave the fight off at 37 seconds of the 9th round at the Turning Stone Resort Casino in Verona, where he retained his championship. Next, it's Kiko Martinez and Josh Warrington 2.
Was that the last attempt by Martinez? He's covering up on the ropes here now. Big attack from Warrington. And he started here with real venom in some of these shots.
In trouble. There's another right hand from Josh Warrington.
Massive shots just pouring in.
Josh Warrington stops Martinez in the 7th round of a dominant performance to win back his IBF featherweight world title.
Good left hook right to the body. He's coming after a solid.
I can see Josh going to the body there.
Good work from Josh.
To be too close.
Warrington lands 2 big rights and staggers Martinez. Martinez lands a right in response, but Warrington fires one that sends Martinez into the ropes.
Warrington
This time there's no escape as Warrington opens up, drives Martinez back into the ropes, and does not let up until referee Marcus McDonald jumps in and stops the fight at 2:12 of the 7th.
For Josh Warrington. He's done it again! Lurid telling us that was. Half a minute to go in the second round. Hard work behind the left-hand jab. There he goes.
Alexis Roca and Blair Cobbs.
So is Rocha, who connects on a big 10 rounds.
A strong volume puncher. Can he keep that chin tough? Rocha specializes in volume punching.
Second time in this fight. 10 seconds, guys, 10 seconds. Cobbs eating a flurry here in the corner.
Roca drops and puts a beating on Blair Cobbs to win via knockout at 44 seconds into the 9th at the Galen Center, Los Angeles.
Good jab. Good jab. Inside by a little bit, just like that.
Cobbs connects with a right hook in the midst of...
Nice body shot by Rocha. I think Cobbs felt that as well.
There's another left hand connected. Cobbs.
And Rocha knew that. He knew that he wasn't going to be able to survive when hurt. So he punched and punched, especially.
Cobbs begins the 9th going for the knockout, but Roca had seen enough, and he closes the show with a couple of chopping lefts in the clinch that sent Cobbs wobbling to the ropes.
Retaliate, yes.
That's what, and that he makes
look. He just missed with the left hand over the top. Shoulder work there from Rocha.
Oh, nice
jab from Rocha as well. And another one. And do you think this is more of a pace of Rocha?
Cobbs came out of the break with an overhand right, sending him back again, and Roca unloads a barrage of shots until the referee steps in and waves it off.
He can pull out something from anywhere, so that's why I'm glad the referee didn't stop this fight, even though he is taking a beating.
Next, it's David Avanesyan versus Askari Metz. Avanesyan blasts the Finnish-based fighter to the canvas midway through the opening round, and there was no way back. Metz tried desperately to hold on and buy time, but his equilibrium was gone. He was helpless. Referee Giuseppe Quartone bizarrely initiated a standing count when Avanesyan was midway through his second assault, but mercifully and thankfully, he calls a halt to the slaughter, the official time at 2 minutes. Next up, it's Mark Magsavo versus Gary Russell Jr. Mark Magsavo ended the 7-year reign of Gary Russell Jr., defeating the heavily favored American by majority to win the WBC featherweight title. Magsayo got off to a quick start in the round, leading heavy shots to the body, which opened up bigger punches upstairs. Magsayo dominates the 11th as Russell reverts to defense and seemed to out-hustle Russell to the final bell.
Round by round sport. Now this is show steps. Nice counter left by Gary. Conclusion of the 9th round. Magsayo beginning to put the nice left-handed. It wasn't a powerful punch, but...
Arturo Gatti and Mickey Ward. There's no titles on the line for these three meetings. The 3 fights between Gatti and Ward became an all-time masterpiece as these two slug it out. In the 9th round, a 1-point deduction and a knockdown caused Gaddy the first fight. May 2002, it's a majority decision loss.
From the way Gaddy went back to the corner, most of this fight would have been stopped right now.
6 months later, Gaddy bounces back with a lopsided unanimous win. With another room to make definitive endings in the rivalry, the two finally face each other in their third match in June 2003. But this time it was way more competitive compared to the first or second, as the Canadian closes the chapter by stamping another unanimous decision victory and also to send Ward into retirement. Next, it's Manny Pacquiao and Erik Morales.
And he merely stands his ground in the middle of the ring and takes a right hook from Manny Pacquiao, who was so much better with his right hand.
Mexican great Erik Morales and the Filipina icon Manny Pacquiao head into 3 entertaining matches in the middle 2000s. The battle between the two fighters produces an incredible trilogy. The second match, though, very different, as Pacquiao turns the tide with a 10th round TKO in January 2006, setting up a must-see third fight.
And we thought Morales was going down. And he does go down.
It's 10 months later, and Manny Pacquiao seals the rivalry with a stunning third-round stoppage of Morales to claim the WBC International Super Featherweight title.
Morales again countering properly upstairs.
Now it's Evander Holyfield and Riddick Bowe.
To the body by Evander Holyfield.
And the left. So far, this is a very good round for Evander. Again, Holyfield scores.
Almost every great boxer has their adversary, and in Evander Holyfield's case, it was Riddick Bowe. Both fighters had fought 3 times during their career between 92 and 95.
George, he's landing that right-hand lead. Is Holyfield the champion?
Not only that left hook to the body.
Bowe claimed a dominating unanimous decision over Holyfield in the first meeting in November 1992, claiming WBC, WBA, and IBF heavyweight titles.
Struggles to stay on his feet. What a heart by Holyfield. Gets away from a right hand, blocks the knuckles out of Holyfield's mouth. It could be all over.
Okay, here's the early
action in that round.
A year later, Holyfield redeems himself and reclaims the titles from Riddick Bowe in a close majority decision triumph. But the third encounter saw a massive setback to Holyfield's career as he was dealt an 8th round TKO beating in November 1995. It was only the 3rd loss in Holyfield's professional record.
If I'm the Holyfield's corner, I'll throw in the towel.